On this week's show, Disney Infinity 3.0. That includes Star Wars, Marvel, and Disney. All this more in episode 87 of the Inside Infinity podcast.
What's up, guys? This is John Vignacchi, executive producer on Disney Infinity, and you are listening to Inside Infinity, the first official Disney Infinity podcast on the net.
Hello everyone, welcome to Inside Infinity episode number 87, Revenge of the 5th, coming at you on coming at you on May 5th, 2015. I am your host, one of your three hosts, Will Kelly. Joining me, as always, Jason Haynes. How are you doing tonight, Jason?
G'day, Will. Great day.
We've already done this, so we're all like, we don't want to say the same things.
No, it's awesome. Super excited. Can't wait to start talking Star Wars news.
Yes, definitely. And also joining us from DITV and VGPodcast.com, Mr. Lloyd Hansen. Lloyd, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing amazing, Will. Talking Star Wars, and as I said a few minutes ago, getting names wrong. It's a good thing.
Well, that's what we do here on the show. We have a lot to talk about, so we're just going to go ahead and roll into it. Before we get started, though, I want to mention Inside Infinity is brought to you in partnership with the Disney Infinity Fans Forum. That's DisneyInfinityFans.com, your number one forum for all things Disney Infinity. A great group over there with lots of great conversation. We have quite a few people watching us on Twitch right now. I'm assuming many of them are Disney Infinity fan members. So, yeah, definitely head over there. Lots of great conversation, rumors, news, community, toy box builders. They run the gamut over there. It's a great group. So head over to DisneyInfinityFans.com to find out more. I'd like to welcome everyone to the live chat. We have bumped up 2 positions, so we now have 46 viewers. We're hitting that record. Love seeing all of you out there. Friendly, familiar faces at a familiar place. I'm just gonna stop talking.
Just get on to the news. Just move on.
So you can join us live in chat each and every Monday evening, 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Just head over to twitch.tv/Disney Infinity TV. And with that, I'm going to take Jason's advice and get on with the show. So we're gonna go over some generalities of Disney Infinity. So the starter pack was announced, and bringing that up on screen. So here you can see the starter pack, which comes with 2 figures this time. Comes with Anakin Skywalker and Ahsoka. There we go.
Hey, you got it right.
I got it right that time. You also get the box art and the playset piece there, which is interlocking lightsabers, and you get some cool box art there. We're not going to really go over too much of that because we have a lot more stuff to discuss. The first question you might be asking yourself, well, what the heck? Are we getting less value now that we only have 2 figures instead of 3? Well, the answer to that is yes, but not by a ton. They did drop the starter pack price to $65. Lloyd, you were shaking your head. You have a comment about that?
No, I think it's great. Getting it out cheaper is a good thing, and yeah.
Yeah. So would you prefer to have to spend? So figures range anywhere from $10 to $15 depending on the sales and stuff. It's dropping the price $10. Do you think that's a good compromise?
Yeah, I think so. It sounds like there's going to be even more versions of the set that are going to be available down the road. We don't have any official word from it, just hearing things from different retailers in different parts of the world. So anything that they can do to get the price down for families is a good thing, because if you're buying the game for $40 or $30, just the game, say, and that means you now have $40 more that you can buy more figures with, which is good for Disney and good for retailers to get that stuff.
And Toy Box TV actually showed the playset by itself.
Yep.
That very playset. So clearly there's going to be either another starter version you can buy, or my personal hope is that we can buy it digital day one and then go out and buy that playset separately.
That would be the ideal thing, for sure.
So here, going to go ahead and bring up that shot that you are referring to, Jason. And this is great because this is actually the first time we've seen the box art for both the Twilight of the Republic playset, which is the starter pack playset, and the Rise Against the Empire playset. So yeah, it looks like now everyone should have a base. Last go around with 2.0, we had to deal with the current gen and it being new hardware, but it looks like it is going to be an option now for sure. Cool. All right, so that is that. The biggest news, in my opinion, of all release news today, and the thing that made me the most happy, I'm curious to hear your guys' thought. No more power disc blind bags. Hooray! So that was the sound of a million voices cheering in excitement.
Weren't silent.
And let's hope there's also an option to buy them all at once, like they did with the Wave 2 with the album. Just to go, yep, I want the lot, do it at a discount. Because otherwise, I foresee a situation, if they bring it out in 2 or groups of 4, is it going to create a situation like the Amiibos where there's a shortage of a particular disc? So it's just as hard to get it as if it was blind bag because it's sold out. You can't get the costume chain disc because no retailers have it. They've got all the crappy whatever ones, but you can't get the super rares in store.
Yep.
Yeah, agree.
I would love to see it that way. Other news, general news is they mentioned 5 different play sets. So we've seen 2 of them. We saw the Twilight of what are they? Let's see here. Twilight of we have Rise Against the Empire and Twilight of the Republic as 2 Disney Star Wars. 2 Star Wars starter packs. And then here we go, our first official box shot of the Inside Out playset, which includes, I believe that's Joy and Anger. So that's cool. Both of these do look like renders. They're not actually all the playset boxes we've seen look like renders to me. But also in the official press release, they mentioned that in winter, quote unquote, they will be releasing a Force Awakens playset as well as a as yet unnamed Marvel playset, and they didn't mention any specifics about the Force Awakens playset, but the Marvel playset will include the Hulkbuster character / figure as well as a Disney Infinity version of Ultron. So that's pretty cool. So I think that, you know what, just at the top of the show here, we already have 2 pieces of news that fans complained about or have been complaining about forever. So 1.0 had 5 different play sets, 2 had 3, maybe 2.5 because 2 were very similar, at least in environment. And now we're getting 5 again that do seem to be pretty unique in their own respects. So what do you guys think about this?
Let's hope they're bigger than 3 hours to get through, as at a minimum, if you're just speeding through it. I hope they're bigger. Personally, I'm just glad there's 5. That was my biggest complaint with 2.0 was that there was only such a small number of playsets when I had so much fun in 1.0 going through all the different playsets that came out. I look forward to new ones coming out and stuff like that. So I'm super stoked for that number.
Yeah, so something else, I just want to throw this into the speculation fire. It's some good kindling with that. And who knows what this means. I'm actually guessing this is a mess up in PR speak. So I'm going to bring up my show notes, but this was taken directly, verbatim, from the PR announcement today. As along with those 5 play sets, additional Disney, Disney Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars figures and playsets will be announced in the coming months. So they announced all playsets that we know of so far. So could this mean that we are getting more than 5 playsets and additional figures that we don't know about yet?
Well, we're certainly in a situation where we have to take it on faith that Inside Out is going to be good. We've only got the trailers to go by, but they must be pretty sure that's a sure bet to bring out not only just to bring out a playset, but to bring out every Inside Out emotion figure that what appears, based on leaks and whatever else, that it appears a huge chunk of the Disney original lineup is going to be the Inside Out figures, and then throw in the mix that they're giving us that I hesitate to call it a variant, but we're getting another Mickey Mouse
Mm-hmm.
figure as well is really curious. So, I mean, me personally, I think the reason we're getting a Mickey Mouse is because I think, again, I think they want to sort of bring Mickey back into line with the Donald to make way for a future potential Goofy figure. You know, we'll have Mickey, Minnie, and they'll just look great together in their original clothing. I think it's just a correction of a potential, not mistake, but I mean, it's very obviously in 1.0, it's very hard to, you know, predict where you want the platform to go. So I think that's why I went with Sorcerer Mickey. But I think this Mickey is going to pave the way for much more classic Disney original cartoon character figures down the road.
Yeah, so that thanks, Jason. This is bringing us to our Disney announced, a few Disney announced characters. So we do have kind of cartoon versions of both Minnie and Mickey. There's Mulan, classic Disney character, and then there's Korra. We also know that Sam Flynn is going to be uh, physical figures, and so that rounds out number three of either fan outrage or wants and desires. So more play sets, getting rid of the blind bags, and then Tron figures, not only digital but physical as well.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. And there's our first kind of look at the Hulkbuster outfit there, which I don't know about you guys, but leading up to the release of Ultron, Hulkbuster toys were all the rage. It seemed like my news feed was daily inundated with that.
Totally.
So
Yeah, it looks good. Can I throw something out real quick? I know we were trying to keep
please.
this fast. With Olaf coming as a figure, we already have other Frozen figures. Do you think this is going to pave the way for Disney maybe looking at digital playsets, or so you can do a DLC download of the playset if you have the figures and play with them in it? Makes me kind of wonder if that's going to be a thing coming up, so they don't have to make the boxes, and they can announce them at pretty much any time. They just have to finish them and then release them that way.
I don't know. What do you think, Jason? That's something. It's been a long-standing wish of yours.
I don't think you can make that call until you see how much more advanced the toy box is.
Yeah.
Because if the toy box has made some huge leaps and bounds, or it doesn't even make huge leaps and bounds, but if they've put some stuff in it that, again, they can rival a play set as far as content, then I don't think that'd be the case. But we just have to wait and see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Cool. Well, let's go over some specifics of the Star Wars playsets and other gameplay enhancements. So, just like previous versions, Avalanche Studio or Software was the lead developers on this, but many aspects of the game were kind of given as has previous games. Been given to other development studios, and so let's just break down those right now. So the very first playset we get is the Twilight of the Republic, and that was helmed by Ninja Theory. Ninja Theory is an extremely well-respected developer in the industry, and they are responsible for games such as Devil May Cry and Heavenly Sword, both heavy action-oriented gameplay games, and some specifics about this playset. So it's following Anakin and Ahsoka as they fight to uncover who's behind a freshly minted droid army. The story's set after Star Wars Episode 2, and it features land and space battles with plenty of melee combat. Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Darth Maul can enter the fray too as separately sold figures. So keep this Enter the Fray in mind, because as we get to the bottom of this Star Wars talk, there's something else to add in there. So that's pretty exciting. Not only a wide variety of characters, the timeline I think is interesting, but also the variety of gameplay sounds very interesting. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
Yeah, no, it sounds great. I mean, that's kind of the sweet spot for Disney movies in my house anyway. So the ability to jump in and play with some of those things and take part rather in some of the scenes that you've seen on television or movies is going to be so much fun. My kids are so excited right now.
Yeah. Anything else you'd like to add, Jason?
No, just awesome.
Just keep it going. All right. Well, I'm going to bring up some shots on screen in no particular order, but these are going to be Star Wars shots. So the other known Star Wars playset is it's done by Studio Gobo. So they are the ones responsible for Disney Infinity's Pirates of the Caribbean playset. So one of the most beloved playsets we've gotten up to this point, even including 2.0. They were also the ones that did the Guardians of the Galaxy playset. They follow us on Twitter, and so I want to give a special shout out to Studio Gobo because they're really cool. So they're helming the Rise Against the Empire playset, and this is taking place between episodes 4 and 6. So it kind of runs the gamut of the original series. It's kind of a highlight reel of sorts that follows the events of the classic trilogy. Luke and Leia tangle with Darth Vader and his forces through memorable consequences, including the Battle of Yavin, as well as time on Hoth and Tatooine. Chewbacca, Han Solo, and Darth Vader figures will be available individually. So I probably should have given the reason I stumbled. I should have given a spoiler alert at the top of the show. There are going to be some spoilers that we are giving away. So if you don't want to hear that, then you might want to turn it off now. Although it's probably a little bit too late, and you probably wouldn't be listening to this if you didn't want to hear it. So I read the Game Informer magazine, gents, and it was really cool. The Studio Gobo Rise Against the Empire playset. I don't know if either of you have played Toy Story 3, the game Toy Story 3, which in a lot of ways is responsible for Disney Infinity in all of its versions. The cool part about that is that in Toy Story 3, there was kind of this open world aspect of Woody's Roundup, and it was kind of this western town. You could lay down buildings, you can kind of customize things, and it's a little more open world. Well, Studio Gobo is taking that kind of direction again with this version. So Tatooine specifically, when you first enter Tatooine, which is going to kind of be this open world area, it's going to be kind of barren. You walk into the cantina, and the band's not going to be there. The band's not going to be playing, and so you have to go and collect the band members. And as you collect each one of the band members on these little side quests and side missions, it is going to fill out the band. And the more band members you get, the more robust the band is going to sound. Other things similar to the Toy Story 3 game is you're going to be able to place buildings. Placing buildings is going to allow you to unlock new missions. It's going to allow you to customize characters, kind of like the Toy Story play sets. You know how you have to build those. I don't know, guys. I'm really excited about this playset in particular because I've very much enjoyed Studio Gobo's work before. What do you guys think of kind of this open world? I don't think the whole thing's going to be open world, but this open world hub where you have Tatooine that you can kind of explore on your own and build your own.
Well, I think I just love the play sets again because it sounds like this one's going to be similar to 1.0 in that we got these different experiences in each play set, and that's what I love about it the most. And it's not unlike the experience toy box artists have in the toy box, in that we have these set of tools given to us, but no matter what we build, it all looks the same and ends up the same. And I think that's it's very similar with play sets. I love the fact that any game developer can build a Disney Infinity game. It will look the same in the same universe, but can feel completely different. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the beauty of what we get with Disney Infinity. So I really do. I loved the fact that you felt like you had 3 completely different games in 1.0, which was super cool. I mean, it's got the downside that you can obviously hate one but love another 2, and you can wish all you want that the ones that you loved was like the other ones. But I think you're casting your net as wide as possible when creating these different gameplay experiences. So I think it's cool.
Absolutely. Jason, just want to mention something on this scene because I know you are a fan of the indoor physical kids playset toy. This totally looks like that to me. So this screenshot title is Rise Against the Empire playset. So it's saying it's from a playset, with the speeder bikes, but I do want to take notice of the tree pieces here. It
Yeah.
looks like we have more treehouse buildable sections that we're going to be able to play with.
Yes, I ranted about that in the not ranted, but I praised that in the trailer breakdown. Everyone watch that. But yeah, I'm super pumped that they've gone back to, because it was notably missing in Disney Infinity 2.0 with Marvel, that they lost that toy look, and because they lost the toy look, the game just ended up looking like kiddie games, like a kiddie game.
Yeah.
But they've clearly, it is blatantly obvious that these are supposed to be toys, and hence complements that art style so much better.
Yeah. Completely agree. So that, and another comment again is just we mentioned this a lot in the trailer breakdown, but just the variety of locales. So this playset alone, Yavin, Hoth, and Tatooine, and so that's pretty awesome. There's just a lot that we're going to be able to see and do there. So we already mentioned a third Star Wars playset coming later this winter. It's based on the Force Awakens movie. But the thing I wanted to come back to, gentlemen, so one addition that they made, additional feature they made in 2.0 is these crossover characters. So being able to collect Rocket coins in the Avengers playset, and once you found them all, you can play as Rocket. Well, Star Wars is doing something similar, and it's kind of cool because it's breaking the mold a little bit. Each Star Wars figure is going to have one coin throughout the playsets, and when you find that one coin, you're going to be able to bring any Star Wars character into the other Star Wars playsets. And so that's something that they've kind of, as a policy, has stayed away. Granted, they're all from the same universe, but I guess just different timelines. But it's really cool that you are going to, if you want, you are going to be able to bring young Anakin in to the Studio Gobo Rise Against the Empire playset and fight Vader as young Anakin if you want, instead of as Luke. So you can fight yourself if you want. So I found that to be something really interesting and something that I personally love, because the more value we can get from these figures, the better off. What do you guys think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Like crossover characters were my favorite thing. Finding 10 coins wasn't my favorite thing, especially when you're missing one. It's like, oh, where is it? You're flying all over the place to find it. Just the fact that there's one coin that you can play with whoever and wherever, that is great.
Yeah.
I guess that also means that unless they patch some of these coins in, we'll be able to see pretty much all the Star Wars characters just by seeing all the coins that you collect.
Definitely, that's a great point. That
or maybe they only appear once you've unlocked the character in the game. They could be sneaky that way, maybe.
That's a good idea too, because that's like that would be like a legitimate way of data mining in a way, just finding those characters. So yeah, so that's cool. Additionally, fans will have the unique opportunity to play with Star Wars characters and all the Star Wars playsets, just expanding on that a little bit. Guys, did we already discuss the possibility of additional? Yes, we did.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
Great. So we don't know much about the Inside Out playset or the Marvel playset, other than the figures that a few figures that will be included in that. So that's going to pretty much wrap up the playsets for now. Now let's discuss some gameplay enhancements. So this is going to go over the range of not only playset and improvement in mechanics, but also toy box stuff. So the Ninja Theory story was something that's really kind of interesting. Avalanche has been working with Studio Gobo for quite some time. Well, we actually discussed Ninja Theory for 2.0, but the way that kind of happened is that these are two very traditionally different studios that kind of came together and make magic. Ninja Theory has focused primarily in the past on some more adult-themed games. And they met up with Avalanche and John Blackburn and JV at actually DICE. Lloyd, you and I discussed DICE just a couple months ago, really. And they just kind of clicked, and the studio mantras were the same, and kind of their development goals were similar, and so it was a real sort of quick bringing on board. They within 2 weeks of that meeting, Ninja Theory got a little bit of experience and began to play around with the tools for 2.0. Well, that was so late in the development of 2.0. They did help the combat in 2.0, and we discussed that prior to the launch of 2.0, but it was not as robust and advanced as it is going to be now that they've been working on it throughout the lifetime of the 3.0 development. So Ninja Theory has returned for melee combat, adjusting the timing and adding depth for advanced players. So 2.0 did improve the depth of combat in Disney Infinity, but 3.0, going by the Game Informer article, I really want you two guys to read this, because it was almost confusing. Like it almost sounded like I don't know, fighter combos that you could add in the game, and although that wasn't a requirement, you could still button mash all you want and still be effective, but there's different timing mechanics to really adjust your fighting style, and yeah, we discussed it in the trailer breakdown. It sounds very much like the Batman Arkham series, which is kind of renowned for their combat. So I think this is really exciting. What do you guys think about just this advancement?
Okay, Lloyd.
Jason, to jump in. I didn't want to hog all mic time. That's perfect. If they can make the combat better, that is a good thing. The combat in 1.0 and 2.0 is basically run up to someone, hit the buttons as fast as possible. Whoever hit the buttons faster or first won. If they could add some sort of mechanics with blocks and counters and parries, that would be great. That's kind of what was missing. Like, you're playing the Avengers playset and you're just kind of flying all over the place, punching frost elves or frost
giants.
Giants. Elves. Whoa, what the heck? You're punching frost giants and just kind of sliding all over the place. If they could bring it into something that's a little bit more deep and enjoyable, that would be really good.
Yeah, I agree. And that would also help out the toy box, because my two pet peeves in toy boxes that people built was I hated when there was complex platforming, and I hated when people expected me to just endlessly kill enemies, because the fight mechanic wasn't fun necessarily. But if you made a really good, robust, fun time in killing things, I think that's why Shadow of Mordor did so well, and that's why I enjoyed the fight challenges and stuff in Batman, because it was fun to fight. So if you can make the fighting fun, then toy boxes automatically become more entertaining, because you actually just want an excuse to go in and use those skills that you've built up, and hopefully they can make them varied enough that it feels different for each character as well.
And so that parry or blocking or dodging that you brought up, Lloyd, actually was given in this very screenshot right here as a description of the combat. So here we see General Grievous with 4 different lightsabers, and the article said, you might not be very effective if you just go in swinging. What might be a better strategy is waiting for him to swing at you, parrying, dodging out of the way, and then hitting him in the back where he's going to be more vulnerable and he can't block your lightsaber as easily. And so that, again, sounds like a very dynamic combat system that I'm sure is going to be something that a lot of people are excited about.
It's good.
This next one, Lloyd, I thought you might be pretty excited about. So they brought in a new studio to help Avalanche for this go round, and this is actually specific to the toy box. So Sumo Digital, they are known for Sonic and Sonic All-Star Racing, I'm sure among others, but that's directly relatable to this next piece, to improve the driving mechanics and the gameplay and Disney Infinity 3.0, tweaking the handling and drifting to provide a smoother experience. So, Lloyd, have you played either of those racing games? So the kart racers, right?
Yes, it's one game. Sonic and Sega All Stars Racing is the name of the game. Kind of confusing, and it was for the longest time on the Wii U. That was the best kart racer because it took forever for Mario Kart to come out. And it's a really good kart racer. It's almost as good as Mario Kart. Some might even say better because it combines flying and gliding and stuff. But the controls that you have when you're playing that game are just great. Like they're kart racing buttery controls. If they can bring some of that to racing in 3.0, that is going to be great. You won't look at a downloadable toy box map, see a track and go, oh, okay. You'll be like, oh, okay, cool. I'm going to get in this thing. I'm going to have a race. I'm going to blow up some people. I'm going to drift around corners and escape laser death and have some fun while doing it. So that's good. This is the one thing about Disney Infinity that's so interesting is they are bringing in such diverse development houses to come in and say, okay, you're good at blah, fix blah in our game. And then they go to someone else and say, yeah, you're the driving crew, fix the driving in our game. It just shows how big of a powerhouse Disney is, where they can make they can make the ocean parts and developers come together for the betterment of the game.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And one thing that this is, again, bringing it back to the value of previous figures, this hopefully will add a ton of additional value and need to play with your old Cars toys.
Yes.
Something. And you know what? I mean, with previous ones, they've kind of had the battle races and stuff, and it's kind of seemed like they've wanted a full-featured kart racer this whole time, but worked within their constraints, and now hopefully that's going to have changed and be even better.
And it's interesting, in a lot of the screenshots, kind of the preview stuff that has come out, there's a lot of old Cars figures in it. I don't think you saw the Cars figures at all in 2.0, except maybe when you had someone riding Mater, I think it was. Now you have in almost all the screenshots, there's a Cars figure there. So maybe they are trying to say, hey, we got some old awesome figures, come play them. They're just as good in this game as well.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. Moving on. More. So this actually kind of goes along with the kart racer aspect. So it looks like we are no longer getting the Toy Box game disc as we now know them. So the Escape from the Kiln, the Stitches Kingdom, the Merida. So those Pyramid discs which were kind of mixed reviews. And they even mentioned that in the game, I think in the interview with John Blackburn, is that, you know what, like, some of the reasons it wasn't as good was intentional. They wanted to use the tools that existed in the toy box. Well, that does limit them. So they kind of scratched that idea as far as we can tell right now. And they are including 2 different toy box games. So the first one is something called... they're called Toy Box expansion games. The first one is called Toy Box Speedway, in parentheses kart racing. And so I think we can all kind of figure out what that is based on what you were just saying, Lloyd. And then the other is Toy Box Takeover, in parentheses action adventure. And that's the one I'm most curious about. Jason, do you have any idea on what this could be specifically? Because I didn't read any specifics on what action adventure Toy Box Takeover could be.
Yeah, no idea. No idea whatsoever.
Cool.
So, enjoy that insight, did you?
I did.
They've got to leave some news to come out later on in the piece.
I mean, yeah, I didn't know, so that's why I sent it your way. So
no, it's true. I have no ideas. Shocker.
Do you have any ideas, Lloyd?
I don't know. Maybe you build a toy box and then you activate something and it turns what you built into a game based on what you pick from a menu. I don't know. Like, it's a toy box takeover. I don't know. Maybe it's what we thought that those pyramid discs would be. Because I remember an interview early on with 2.0 when they said, yeah, you'll be able to create a level and then drop down this thing and play a Diablo-like top-down dungeon crawler thing. But that was really not it. You drop it down and you're transported to a whole different world. Maybe now you can bring that stuff into worlds that you create, possibly.
Yeah.
So
I did bring up a shot of what looks to be the toy box race thing. Just want to bring that up on screen because it showed a different vehicle, which I found kind of cool. So here's the kart racing, the Toy Box Speedway. You see some familiar things there, but you also see these really cool, like, retro Formula One cars, which I just think is really cool. They're Disney Infinity themed. That's really the only new thing outside of Mickey and Minnie driving in. Mickey's driving his Mickey car, and Minnie's driving what looks like either an Incredible Cycle, or no, it's got to be a 2.0 cycle. Everything else looks kind of the same. But yeah, it's cool. And this is actually from that Toy Box Speedway. The tag of the screenshot said Toy Box Speedway. So we're thinking it's not just a Toy Box race track. Cool. All right, so let's go over a few other Toy Box improvements before we kind of start to close it out here. So bringing it back up on screen. So this is kind of cool. So first shot here we have, I did want to show off this screenshot in particular and just actually kind of discuss the screenshot. So we see a lot of things that are familiar. To my eyes, I don't see any character in here that looks any different. But the thing that I wanted to mention is that this looks like straight up Toy Box. It could be that action adventure Toy Box expansion game. But gentlemen, the ship here to me looks very much like the Black Pearl and not like the shipwrecked ship we have now. And the other thing, I think this could go either way. It might be kind of hard for you guys in on the panel to see, but in the background here, this is definitely waves, and this is definitely waves in a sky dome that I don't recognize. So I'm wondering if this could be, in fact, the first time we get to see what could be a water mechanic in the game.
Highly doubt it.
Highly doubt it?
Highly doubt it.
I'm reaching is what you're saying?
Yeah, but I like your prediction on the ship. That's definitely a different ship.
Yeah. Looks like it's larger and hopefully a little more interactive. Lloyd, do you agree? Do you think that this is just a staged screenshot?
I don't know. It could just maybe be a nicer texture. So maybe there's a water texture that gives you waves, but you just stand on it like you're walking on water. But yeah, that looks like the Black Pearl. That looks like a much different ship.
Yeah. So some other mentioned Toy Box improvements as I go through some Toy Box screen. Actually, this is the screen I was talking about in the trailer breakdown. So this is obviously the Toy Box. The Sandcrawler is there. In the Game Informer magazine, I do know there's a mission where you can drive the Sandcrawler. You also see Darth Vader poking a probe droid in the back. You see R2-D2 C-3PO here. So you also see two other droids in the background here. It's kind of hard to see what looks like a white C-3PO and a white R2-D2, among other things. I don't know what these robots are from. If they're from Ultron, we have some battle bots there. But who knows? Who knows what in the screenshot is playable and what in this screenshot is either friendly.
Cool little Jawa townspeople.
Yeah, the Jawa's here. Oh, that's epic. I'm looking.
That's cool.
Isn't that neat?
Then it has a tower in the back. Is that the tower from Marvel? Is that like the Daily Planet or whatever?
I think it is. It looks familiar to me.
I think it's the Daily Planet. Yeah.
And there's a treasure chest. So are we going back to having that type of stuff in our play sets again, or in our toy boxes rather?
Yeah, it looks like it. Also, I'm curious what this is right here. This looks like another droid. I don't know if you guys can see it.
Yeah, I can see that. It's interesting.
Droid, yeah.
I just want to know where BB-8 is, though.
Yeah. It'll be coming in winter.
BB-8. Okay, so moving on as I go through these Toy Box photos here. So some improvements. Toy Box is getting special attention. Word on the street is that 3.0 is going to have a much better Toy Box. According to the article in the press release, special attention to the Toy Box with the addition of an updated hub world. So what on earth could that mean, guys? What's an updated hub world? Is that like, Lloyd, I think you were mentioning it earlier. Do you think that could be a new Hall of Heroes that leads us to different sections? Or what do you guys think this updated hub world is?
I think it could be instead of, well, it'll be something maybe that replaces the Hall of Heroes. Instead of having something you go to and look at statues and that's it, maybe there's something to do there. Instead of having in 2.0 you had your own house that you could build up and do different quests. Maybe it's your own little sandbox world that has quests and things that will level up and stuff that you can do there. And they keep saying farming, so maybe there's some of that in the game as well, in your own little fancy little world thing.
Yeah. What do you think, Jason? What do you think the hub world is?
I agree. If you go back to that one with Mickey Mouse and Donald Duck, it's very obvious that we have, look at that shot. Those are clearly blocks, and we have an interior window
Looking
that
to
Donald Duck is looking through. So this is clearly an interior shot, but those are
Right.
clearly exterior blocks. So maybe we're lucky enough to get interior toys in the standard box.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, that would make sense to have this. And I think it'd be phenomenal to have that. I've spoken about it before, having a hub world that you can sort of live in, so to speak, that would replace the Hall of Heroes, a place that sort of you boot up into at your starting point of the toy box. You can play around in it, theme it, all those sorts of things. And then from there, launch into new toy boxes or whatnot. That would make a lot of sense. It would make me very happy.
Absolutely. I mean, this is definitely interior toys and exterior block arts looking through the window to a sky dome. And
again, it doesn't make a lot of sense as a rendered shot. I mean, clearly it has to be a pre-rendered thing because there's 5 characters in that shot.
Yeah, and Olaf is melting.
But that's cool. Like, super excited.
But it's so specific, and it's so has aspects that are so recognizable. I doubt for fear of sicking the mob on them, I doubt they would show this off as just a concept piece. I really don't think they're going to show this and then not allow interior toys and
because
standard
I mean
toy boxes.
that is a high level of interaction that you're looking at there with Minnie sitting on the side of the bathtub with her feet in the water type thing. But I mean, I love that idea. I love the idea of having the characters that you've bought and unlocked sort of existing in a world.
Yeah.
So that they're not, to use lack of a better term, theoretically locked in the actual toy figure and only come out to play when you put them on the base. That'd be amazing.
That's a great idea. So any character that you unlock, you could bring in the game as a friendly and
almost like
AI.
like a Sims type thing. It'd be awesome if they were just walking around in this hub world and just sort of existing in that world. And every time you introduce a new character, buy a new figure, just like in Animal Crossing, they all start interacting with each other, and it's like you can find them, playing in the house that you built for Mickey, which could be this scenario. So that'd be amazingly cool.
Yep.
That's neat, and that kind of harkens back to the Toy Story 3 game where you would rescue someone and they would show up in your world, your hub world, and offer missions and different things to. So
yeah,
that's good. I like how it looks like the building is made out of blocks as well. Like the one thing that I've harped on a little bit in not as much as Jason complaining, but a little bit. Is that it would be nice if building stuff would be more like Minecraft, where you're just putting down blocks, and those look like all like cubes. So maybe the resource limit has been increased a lot, and you'll be able to build actual things that way. That would be amazing, but we'll wait and see, I guess.
Yeah, that would be cool. So basically, those are 2 great ideas that if they make it in 3.0, we know it came from this show and not been in development for months and months and months.
It was my idea this time, not
It's your idea. So this is a pretty wide statement. Toys for new players and experts. So we know all of the toy box toys are going to be expanded upon, especially the logic, I'm sure, is going to get even more robust. We know that there is going to be a pathing system for AI now, which is going to be pretty cool. And then this other really odd, peculiar thing, this right here. So the addition of a all-new farming system, and I'm gonna bring this up. And so it's funny the 2 you mentioned Animal Crossing, because they even mentioned Animal Crossing in the Game Informer article that this gameplay could lead to like an Animal Crossing play environment. But for now, what the farming is that you essentially you are farming, and you are farming for different foods, and those foods can be everything from corn that we're seeing here or pizza. And what's the point of farming, though? That's a big question. That was a question that was on my mind. Well, it's actually to feed your sidekicks that will be able to follow you in combat, whether it be toy boxes or play sets. They have their own stats, and some of your sidekicks, they like different types of food. They might like the Lion King food, or they might like the pizza. And so what you want to do is farm. And I guess it's a time-based system. It sounds kind of like these time-based free-to-play games that we're familiar with. I highly doubt they are going to add free-to-play mechanics in Disney Infinity, at least in this capacity.
What are you talking about? They did that in 2.0.
Well,
it pretty much was a free-to-play mechanic. I'd be shocked if they didn't.
In what way, though?
I don't know, like that. I mean, doesn't that sound like the perfect fit on like an iOS version of the game? To like you're downloading just the toy box and you're just farming.
It's true.
All day, every day in the iOS app. That sounds perfectly built for a tablet version of the game.
You could play the Disney Infinity Farmville Facebook game and send invites to friends, share eggs and other things with them. Yeah.
Not in the console, though, please.
As terrible as that might be, I kind of want it. I want something on my phone that I can play all the time and say, "Ooh, look at those 5 bushels of corn." I know Goofy likes corn when he's coming next game, so he'll eat. Like that would be fun. I wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
If it's something that you have to check into every day on the console, I could see that being a little bit tedious sometimes, because maybe you just want to level up a character, but you have to wait a full day for that stuff to grow. It'll be interesting. Shakes out. It could be really good. It could be really bad.
So Bad Gamer agrees with you. I need an app on my phone for farming. Somewhat Awesome Games King Lupa is saying that we pretty much already have free-to-play model with Power Disc and figures. And then Boondoggle Man says, "Oh, new topic." So I'm coming after the two of you if we do get expanded upon free-to-play mechanics in Disney Infinity 3.0.
Let me clarify. Free to play on this would be okay. Free to play something I've already spent $65 on, not so good. I don't like that.
There we go. That we can agree on. Want to show off a few more toy box pictures here. I found this one to be really interesting. This thing right here. I don't know what this could be. This building thing.
It's a bank.
It's a bank. So one. Sorry, go ahead.
I said it's a bank that looks like it has a safe. So you step on the little arrows to change the combination lock to pop it open.
Oh, very cool. Very cool. A new toy box item that they are going to have is that, one thing they recognized in the toy box is that a lot of times people that weren't that advanced in the toy box, they would go in there, they would do the same thing over and over again. They would play with the toys that they're familiar with, that they find is their favorite, and do what they want to do, and then they leave. Well, I guess now they are adding something in, and Lloyd, this will be reminiscent of Toy Story 3 with the toy capsules like you get in the 25-cent machines, as a kid. So there's going to be this thing that is in every toy box. And again, I'm fuzzy on the details, but essentially it's going to pop out different toys to play with. And I would assume you're still going to be able to unlock these toys, but it will just be random toys to get you experience with new toys. And I thought that was kind of interesting. I want to show something specific. So here's Hulk and Hulkbuster fighting on the pirate ships. That's cool. I like the Dark Aster in the background, though. That's a shout out to Pirate Steven, because I know he likes the Dark Aster too. So that, I think, kind of wraps it up. I have one final thing to mention that came from the Game Informer article, and to be honest, this was one of my most exciting things. We have discussed at length and even developed our own, or Jason has developed his own perfect solution for toy box discovery. So there's over 16 million toy boxes out there now, which is just a mind-boggling number. It's just insane. But how are you gonna get through all those? Well, now there is a very physical way of exploring new toy boxes. So in the game, you are going to have the El Capitan Theater, the famous El Capitan, and you're going to walk into the theater. You're going to have what would be movie posters on the wall, but these are actually going to be high-rated or popular toy boxes that you can download and play. There's going to be a arcade in there, so you can play mini games. You can also watch Toy Box TV in there, among other things. So I love that, bringing that Disney love back in the game. And Jason, I really wanted to know your thoughts on this because I teased you earlier via chat. And do you think that's kind of a neat way of doing toy boxes and toy boxes discovery?
I'll legitimize it when Disney Infinity TV can be watched in it.
Oh, I love it.
No, I think that's a great idea. We've discussed at length. Toy box discovery is an issue, and it's only going to get harder as more and more people come online and more toy boxes submitted. So hopefully it works.
It reminds me a lot of PlayStation Home. If you were ever unfortunate enough to play around PlayStation Home. But there was a section where you could have a theater and they could put movies up on a screen and you could invite people into your house and play games. Maybe that's what the social hub is. Maybe it's more of, or the hub world, maybe it's more of a social hub, maybe akin to like a PlayStation Home or something in, say, like Destiny, where you have this area that you go and you can do stuff and maybe have other people join you there and figure out what you want to do, then go play it. I don't know. It's exciting. We get little snippets and little tidbits here and there, and we don't want to be crazy and start going down like the wrong rabbit hole like we tend to do on this show sometimes. But all these little tidbits make me very excited about what 3.0 could possibly be.
Absolutely. Chat room is going crazy over this. Tyler, what's up, buddy? Didn't see you in there. He's saying El Capitan deserves a woot. So woot woot, El Capitan. Papa Echo saying double woot. Could not agree more. Who knows what other park stuff we are going to get in the game, fingers crossed. So let's wrap things up, gentlemen, with the toys or the figures that we know of so far. So the Inside Out playset, we didn't really get any figures outside of the box art for that, which I'm gonna try to find. I may not be able to bring up. Yes, there it is. So here we go. Inside Out. The Inside Out playset is going to include joy, disgust, anger, fear, and sadness. So those are what's that? 5 figures that we are getting in the Inside Out playset. That's pretty cool. It's reminiscent of The Incredibles. We discussed that in a past episode. So what else we have here? Let's go over the Star Wars characters really quick. At this point, we've kind of gone through them, but going to do it again. Here's some concept art. So obviously, we are getting Darth Maul. We are getting Darth Vader, Duck Vader. So it's cool. Seeing these concept screenshots. So these photos are coming at you from the Game Informer article, so highly suggest you go out and check that out. Here's Princess Leia, really cool version of Leia. We talked about her a lot on the trailer breakdown. If you haven't watched it, go do that. Here's Yoda. Yoda looks really cool. There you go. There's your old Yoda that you were talking about, Jason. So that's Yoda. There we have Anakin. Here we go. Anakin. We have Ahsoka. See, I can get it if I just think about it. I just have to pause for a moment. We have Obi-Wan. Love that version of Obi-Wan. It's really excited about that. Here's the playsets again. We didn't mention the freaking Death Star as the playset piece. How cool is that, guys? That looks
so amazing.
I kind of want multiple ones of those just to play marbles with. Let's continue. So here we go. There's Chewie and Han Solo. Really cool. Here they are in figure form, along with Luke. And so so that is all we know about for the Star Wars characters. Correct me if I'm missing any of them, gents. Then we have some other fan favorite characters from across the Walt Disney Company, like Mickey, Minnie, Sam Flynn, Korra from Tron Legacy, Mulan, Olaf, among many others. So we know we are going to be getting additional figures at some point. Who knows if that's going to be because among many others could also be Marvel characters like this Hulkbuster or the Ultron figure that we now know of.
This much is sure, though, it's a really good start. If, like, you're coming out of the gate really strong. So anything additional to this is a super bonus.
Absolutely, and something that we discussed early on with the trailer breakdown. So with the trailer breakdown, they release so much info, and all of this playset and figure information, they release so much info, and it's kind of out of the ordinary for Disney Infinity to do that. So it might lead you to believe that we're going to be getting a lot more characters. So, gentlemen, that's the encapsulated version of all of today's news. I can tell you, and I'm sure I'm not alone at this, I probably spent the better part of 6 hours today going through just information, communicating with all of you on Facebook and Twitter, watching the trailers over and over and over again. And so this is kind of the trimmed down version, but we do hope that it was kind of the crash course in Disney Infinity 3.0. Do you guys have anything else that you'd like to expand on or mention before we kind of end this week's Inside Infinity?
No, this is just the start of some amazing stuff that's going to be coming out in the near future. I can't wait till E3. I can't wait to D23. I can't wait to all the different milestone get hit in development, and we get another burst of screenshots and other things. I'm super excited for this game. Yeah,
and one thing that having this burst of information gives us is it even if there is more figures, there's a possibility of more leaks, but this does kind of cut out the possibility of quite a few leaks. So it's good that we can at least a pretty big segment of the figures we don't have to worry about anymore, or the play sets. Jason, any parting words from you?
No, just obviously we've got quite a while for this thing to come out still. So if you're listening to this, you haven't bought into Disney Infinity, my recommendation is 2.0 is probably super cheap right now. And you really, like, if you think you might even be slightly interested in getting to the toy box, start getting your skills together with 2.0, because it's obviously going to be different, but it's not going to be massively different. So you can get a good head start on your skills and, of course, your collection. Because I don't know if they didn't specifically state it, I believe, but obviously 3.0 is going to be compatible with all the 1.0 figures and so on. So if you're late to the game, you might want to get cracking on getting your collection up to speed.
Absolutely. I purchased for my best friend Disney Infinity 2.0. It arrived to him yesterday, so he sent me a picture, and he was really excited to finally get his hands on it. He's the one that's been to the events with me as my camera guy, and so I was like, all right. It was like, you better start getting cracking on it, and I sent him the link to 3.0, and he's like, yes, I'm so excited now. So it's never too late to start, like he said.
Yeah. So lots to talk over the coming months.
Get good noobs, spelled in Leet speak, according to Papa Echo. Well, awesome, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining me this week. Not joining me, but just coming on and talking about the 3.0 announcement. Everyone in the chat, we really appreciate you joining as well, but stay tuned because we have some very special guests coming up on our roundtable. So episode 87 roundtable, we have the Pirate Steven, Lauren Mighty Jidus, and Nate and Rums coming on the show to discuss 3.0. So all of them are accomplished toy box artists as well as big Star Wars nerds, and that's a compliment to be a Star Wars nerd. So stay tuned with that. I hope everyone enjoyed this week's episode, and yeah, things are gonna just heat up and keep on moving as we get closer to launch. I mean, now is when the floodgates open, and so expect to hear more from us and more from Disney Infinity.
And Will, Disney has a really deep bench, bro. Really.
You got the
Hopefully
link
our
in
bench
there.
can get us deep.
Yeah. Oh, awesome. JV making memes every chance he gets.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks, everyone on the chat, listening to the podcast or watching us on YouTube. We hope you enjoyed this week's show. And until next time, we hope your week is filled with infinite possibilities. We hope you enjoyed this week's episode of Inside Infinity Podcast. For all things Disney Infinity, head over to our YouTube channel, DisneyInfinity.tv, or that's youtube.com/Disney Infinity TV. You can find our trailer breakdown for Disney Infinity 3.0, as well as roundtables and podcast discussion. Please subscribe to us if you like what we're doing. Also, you can find our Twitter and Facebook group. Facebook group has great community. Also, head over to our partner network, Res TV, youtube.com/Res TV.